The kingdom celebrated a prince, but the child was stolen, and the queen knew. For years the queen gave the king only daughters, 3 princesses born in gold and silk, praised by the court, yet quietly resented. Because the law was merciless, only a son could secure the throne. Whispers grew louder, the council pressed harder, and the king's patience began to fade. Then one night, the queen conceived again. Hope ignited the palace, but fear ruled her heart. In secret, she summoned a prophet. The old seer touched her womb, then froze. "You carry royal blood," he whispered, "but you will not birth a son. You will birth a daughter, and her destiny will decide this kingdom's fate." The queen collapsed. A daughter meant exile, replacement, the end of her reign. So she chose the unthinkable. When labor came, the chamber was sealed. No men, no messengers, not even the king. A baby girl was born. For one stolen moment, the queen held her child and wept. "I waited my whole life for you," she whispered, "but the world has made you my punishment." Before dawn, she summoned her closest lady. "The king must never know," the queen said. "He must believe I birthed a son." Gold changed hands. Before sunrise, a poor woman gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and when the sun rose, the queen cradled a child that was not her own. Her true daughter was wrapped in plain cloth, carried through hidden tunnels, and erased from the palace. At sunrise, the kingdom shouted, "The queen has given birth to a prince." The lie became history. But far away, in a cold mountain convent, a baby girl opened her eyes for the first time. She did not know she was royal. She did not know she had been stolen from a throne. And she did not know the queen had sworn to return when she turned 16, because blood remembers, and destiny was already moving. Seraphina's 16th birthday. The queen remembered the promise she had buried for years. A sealed order was sent to the convent. The queen did not sleep the night she wrote the letter. Though the palace lay silent, her chamber was crowded with ghosts. Daughters she had hidden, a son she had stolen, and a future she could no longer command. By the last light of a dying candle, she pressed the royal seal into wax. "Send the girl Seraphina to the palace at once," she wrote. "She shall serve the youngest princess as lady-in-waiting." At dawn, the palace gates opened. Seraphina stepped inside for the first time, wrapped in silk and soft gold. Yet she walked with the quiet humility of a girl raised in prayer and silence. From a distant balcony, the queen froze. There she was, her daughter, so close she could see her breathe, yet so far she could never call her name. The queen did not wave, did not step forward. She only watched as Seraphina crossed the courtyard, walking the life that had been stolen from her. Pride rose like fire in her chest. Guilt crushed it just as quickly. "I stole her life," the queen thought. "But at least she will marry better. At least she will be safe here." Seraphina stood uncertain at its threshold, unsure where to place her hands, or her breath. Then she saw the princess, young, laughing, unburdened. They met not as sisters, but as strangers. "You're new," the princess said. "Yes, your highness," Seraphina replied, bowing too deeply. The princess frowned. "You don't have to bow like that. I'm not in court. Glad you're here." Across the room, unseen, the queen watched. 2 daughters, one raised in light, one raised in shadow, and still, she said nothing. And there was Prince Kale, the son she had stolen. He was all the kingdom believed in, trained for war, crowned for command. Yet at night, he dreamed of a woman weeping, a grief without a face. When Kale and Seraphina crossed paths, they faltered. Not love, but recognition. The queen saw it. From a distance, the queen watched. And for the first time in years, her heart felt light. Because if Kyle loved Seraphina, then perhaps the life she had stolen could still be returned. For the prophecy still whispered, "Blood stolen shall return to blood." Love did not ask permission. In moonlit gardens, Seraphina and Prince Kale stood close, yet already bound. The council objected. The law resisted. One night Kyle stood before his father and asked to marry Seraphina. The king refused. "You are already betrothed," he said coldly. "For alliances, for peace." The council spoke of bloodlines, of stability, of tradition. A common girl cannot sit beside a prince. The union was denied. Then the queen rose. Her voice was calm, but the chamber stilled. Then the queen rose. Her voice was calm, but the chamber stilled. "The crown rests on your head," she said to the king. Your word is law. She paused. For once, she whispered. Let love lead where fear has ruled. The king listened. The betrothal was broken. The wedding followed. The kingdom waited for outrage. Instead, it rejoiced. For a prince, choosing a common girl meant something greater. That worth was not written only in blood. Seraphina walked in white and gold, never knowing the crown had always been hers. Kyle took her hand, never knowing it led back to his stolen beginning. From a balcony, the queen watched. Joy filled her eyes. Guilt followed close behind. So close, so far away. Years later, as death hollowed the queen's voice, she summoned them. And at last, she spoke the truth. The prophet, the stolen boy, the hidden daughter, the gold, the convent, the marriage meant to imprison destiny itself. Seraphina fell to her knees. Kale felt the world tilt. The king broke beneath the weight of it. That night, the queen died. The bells rang across the kingdom. The people mourned a ruler they believed had saved them. No one else knew the truth. Only 3 hearts carried it. Sleep abandoned Kyle. The palace felt like a lie carved in stone. So he left. Beyond the city, beyond memory, he found a broken cabin at the edge of the land. The place of his birth. Behind it, beneath an old tree, he found a grave with no name. He fell to his knees. Seraphina followed him and brought him back to the palace. At the palace, the truth did not leave the king untouched either. Sleep abandoned him. Grief consumed him. The king did not sleep. At dawn, he summoned the council. Seraphina and Kyle stood beside him. Hands clasped, not as rulers, but as witnesses. There was no prince born that night, the king declared. There was a stolen child and a hidden daughter. The chamber erupted. By noon, the truth flooded the streets. The people raged, they wept, they argued. Betrayal to some, sacrifice to others. The square erupted. Then the king raised his hand. My elder daughters are queens beyond these borders, he said. They belong to other crowns, other realms. He turned to Seraphina. You were hidden, he said, his voice breaking. But you are of this land. I name Seraphina my heir, and the first queen to rule this kingdom in her own right. The truth spoken, the king collapsed. Before sunset, he died. In the great hall, the ancient law was read. The crown was lifted. Seraphina bowed her head, not in submission, but in reverence. When the crown touched her hair, history turned. At sunset, Queen Seraphina stood upon the balcony. Beside her stood Kyle, not crowned, but chosen. The bells rang once more. Not for lies, not for loss, but for a reign born of truth.